Hey guys, this is Kilo and today I want to present you with a new project that I'm going to be running on YouTube, which is going to be the creation of a point-and-click adventure game. Now this is the kind of game which is one of the easiest to implement when you are a solo game developer or you are a part of a small indie game developer team. Okay, so to start with, I want to say a few words of what this game is all about. So in this game, we are in a world of puppets. So every character, every NPC, it's something like a puppet or a marionette or a stuffed animal. So we are a lost puppet that wakes up in a dark castle, a very mysterious castle that we've never been in our lives. And we're trying to discover our true identity. So we have something like a memory loss, or maybe we just been created by the world or something like that. So, in the course of our game, we try to explore the castle and explore its secrets, reveal the secrets of the castle, and see what is the explanation of all those mysteries that are happening in the course of our game. Of course, all these secrets that we're going to find out will have something to do with our personal background, our own story as a protagonist, which is a very important connection to making a story in order to try to relate the character with the story. So the character does actually have a connection to this castle, but we just don't know yet what this is about. So in the course of our game, we are also going to find some interesting mysterious characters, which will not definitely be hostile or friendly, might be neutral, might be someone that helps us, might be also someone that tries to block us from proceeding further. There will be lots of different kind of NPCs that we're going to interact and have a bunch of choices to reply to in our conversation. So that's the general description of the game. That is the experience that we want the player to have. Moving on, I want to talk about the goals of this project, why actually bother and spend time on a project like this. Well, first of all, it will help us understand the game development as a whole. And that is because to we're going to examine all different aspects of the game. And when I say that, I mean we're going to create the art ourselves, the animations, of course the coding, what is going on in the game engine, collect all the pieces together, and implement a full-fledged section of a game that could be sold in the market. So we're going to create a game that is complete in all aspects, and that is why we can understand how much time it takes and how much effort to put all those pieces together. Of course, by doing all that, we will be able to practice our skills in every section of that and inspire new ideas, come up with new ideas as we're in the process of creating this game. And the last thing I want to say is that this project will also help reinforce the genre, the point and click adventure genre, which is a very important thing because it's one of the genres that is very approachable to indie game developers. And you see in the next slide what I mean with that. So why are we making a point and click adventure? First of all, it is I think one of the most enjoyable kind of games. You can all play it just with the mouse, so it's also portable to a smartphone. And of course, it's usually story driven, so you can have some kind of relaxing adventure while also solving some puzzles. But of course, this is a personal opinion, a personal preference. Uh, to talk about more practical stuff, a point-and-click adventure game usually requires a reduced amount of work in relevance to other kind of games like a platformer or a battle type one. So it's very approachable for indie game developers and especially for those who just started with this activity. It's a simple implementation, simple mechanics, and we can focus more on game design. And that is our main goal here to try to improve also in the game design to understand what is a better experience for the player, what annoys the player, what puts him in a difficult position, and so we can provide a better experience for the player. And of course, as I mentioned a lot of times, it is approachable by indie game developers. And because it is usually story driven, it is a sector where anyone without technical knowledge can invest some time and come up with a good script. So now about planning and design. We have the setup and the game design. When I say setup, I mean all about the graphical environment, the art style, and stuff like that. So it's going to be something like a cartoon art with weird shapes and mystery atmosphere, something like Tim Burton tries to achieve in his movies. So we're going to have a spooky feeling because of the marionettes and the puppets and stuff. Um, Encrypted dialogues, and this is a world of puppets. That means that everything's going on is going to be very mysterious and very dark and stuff like that. But also we're trying to keep a relatively light mood for the player, so it's not going to be very serious, very intense, but more of a light experience. Maybe implement some humor, black humor, and stuff like that. And now about the game design. Of course, it will be a point-and-click adventure game. So that means that everything we do it with our mouse or with our finger if it's on a smartphone. We're going to have different kind of interactions, such as opening a chest, opening a door, uh, interact with some weird mechanics or stuff like that. We're going to be puzzle solving. That means it might be something like an environmental puzzle, which takes all over the place of the room, or just with a small section, a small individual puzzle. And we're going to have interactions with the NPCs where we can choose our own answers to them, and this will affect uh, not necessarily the story of the game and our pathing, but more of how we can handle situations and stuff like that. And of course, as always, as in every adventure game, we're going to be collecting items and combine these items to solve different puzzles. Okay, now about the tools we're going to use. The main point that I have to mention is that we're going to use the Godot Game Engine for our game making, which is a very good engine, especially for making 2D games. And it also has a very simple scripting, so it's very user friendly, especially for new developers. For the animations, I'm going to use Krita and Photoshop for the graphics. And when I say graphics, I mean all of the environment and everything consists the environment, also the UI and stuff like that. In Krita, the animations are referring to the character animation usually, but also some other animations of objects like door opening and stuff like that. Yeah, there's nothing more to say about the tools that we are going to be using. Surely, Krita and Photoshop is like kind of a preference, but if we want to be in the same page, then we're definitely going to need to use the Godot Game Engine. Okay, now about the frequency of the sessions, I want to upgrade this project, the YouTube channel weekly, and every time I want to provide an art and a game making section, which will be separate videos, and you will distinguish them by the red and the blue color as shown in the thumbnail. Of course, uh, maybe not everyone is interested in both sections. Uh, I believe that the most of you will be more interested in the game making section, so you might want to skip the art section if it's not in your interest, because we're just going to be creating assets that I will also provide, and you will be able to use them anyway. So the art section is just to understand how some things works, how how much time it takes to create some assets and stuff like that. So talking about the assets, I will provide every time all the assets that you need to keep up with the project, and that means the scripts, the sprites, and the animations. So you will be able to download all the progress that we'll be making uh, on this game. But to be fair, I will do lots of things off screen and mostly for the art because it just takes too much time to record all the stuff that I'm doing. And also in the game engine, I might do some background stuff. It's mostly with how I manage my files and what I'm doing with the scene and stuff like that. But of course, the more important part, which will be the scripting, will be on the camera. Now, to be honest, I'm not a very experienced artist. I only have 2 years of experience in creating art and illustration. So it's not like I will provide all the top class technical knowledge about art, but it will be more of a showdown of my own style that I have developed and maybe some tips that I can give you in order to try to improve on your own art. Okay, with all that being said, I'm going to conclude this introduction video. We're going to jump right into the implementation of the project, and I hope you guys find this useful and improve on your own games that you develop. Hello, my name is Kilo. I'm the director of an indie game development team called Dimension Omega, where we're currently working on a project called Astra, which is a 2D platformer Metroidvania game. Considering following us on Instagram, where we will be uploading content of our progress. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe, it really helps support the channel.